China's $200 billion underwater train to the US. Need to fly from Los Angeles to Shanghai and not looking forward to the uncomfortable flight? That might change. Your next trip from the west coast of the US to mainland China might be underwater. The People's Republic of China wants to build an expensive high railway network from China to the United States. Imagine taking a bullet train from Beijing to San Francisco instead of by airplane. It may sound far-fetched, but China has been diligent in developing its high-speed train network over the last decade. While it may be possible, the spectacular railway network would also make a mark in the history books as the most expensive megaproject to date. But how exactly will this challenging project take off? Before we get into it, subscribe if you're new to the channel and turn on the notification bell, so you can be notified every time we upload a new video. 1. Underwater train. China first began exploring the idea of building a high-speed train network to the United States in 2014. The plans are incredibly daunting and will require the sharpest of engineering minds to allow the plan to come to fruition, but that does not deter China from continuing to plot the idea. The proposed rail line is expected to be more than 8,000 miles and will connect China, Russia, Canada, and the United States. It has been given the nickname, the China-Russia-Canada-America line. As a comparison, the Trans-Siberian Railway network is the longest in the world at 5,778 miles long. Therefore, this underwater rail line would dwarf the Trans-Siberian Railway. In addition, it will be significantly faster and more comfortable. Having the ability to travel from northeastern China to Siberia then towards the Bering Strait underneath Alaska would be incredible, and benefit many travelers. The most expensive part of the entire project will be the underwater portion that will run from Russia to Alaska. This alone will cost $52 billion. The Bering Strait underwater tunnel will be 4 times longer than the Channel Tunnel that connects the United Kingdom to France. With that in mind, the high price tag is understandable. Channel Tunnel, also called the Eurotunnel, runs beneath the English Channel, originating in Folkestone, Kent in the UK and connecting to Coquelles, Pas-de-Calais in France. When it opened in 1994, it was considered an engineering feat and an impressive form of infrastructure. It took 13,000 skilled workers to construct the 3 tunnels, and the undersea portion is only 23.5 miles long. After exiting the Bering Strait Tunnel, the bullet train will travel into Canada's Yukon Territory and then down to British Columbia. Finally, it will go on to Washington State and beyond, reaching many parts of the United States, and that is just the beginning. The high-speed railway system has plans to expand to all corners of the United States, from California to Florida to New York. When the project's massive scope is considered, the high cost makes more sense, but the price is a conservative estimate. It could be much higher. Many may believe it will take weeks to travel along the proposed, extensive railway due to the vast distance between the countries. But surprisingly, the China bullet train system that is already in place in China is state-of-the-art. Recently, China revealed that the brand new high-speed network of bullet trains would reach speeds of 385 miles per hour. Hence, travel from China to the United States would only take 2 days via train, which is very impressive when considering a flight from Shanghai to Los Angeles is 14 hours non-stop. 2. China's high-speed rail system. China is steadily growing and on the verge of surpassing the United States to become the world's largest economy. Skyscrapers such as Shanghai Tower, CITIC Plaza, and many others seemingly pop up overnight. The country has also built up an impressive high-speed railway that rivals those high-speed systems in Japan and Europe. The United States doesn't even have a high-speed rail network. There are many reasons why, one possibly being cost and unnecessary need for such transportation. Despite that, California is planning to build an $80 billion high-speed rail network to connect San Francisco to Los Angeles, and it will take about 2.5 hours to make the 380-mile trip. China's high-speed train network is still reasonably new. The state-owned China Railway started planning the system in 1990, almost 30 years after Japan's high-speed Shinkansen was launched. Although they had a late start in the bullet train construction, China's system is as advanced as Japan's. China even beat out Japan for the rights to build a high-speed rail network in Indonesia. In 1999, China began construction of the first leg of its high-speed network, and the $1.90 billion rail line began service in 2003. And the bullet trains that rode the tracks were rolling at top speeds of 160 miles per hour. In 2012, construction of the rail system increased significantly when China opened the 1,428-mile Beijing-Guangzhou high-speed rail line, which is currently the longest high-speed rail system in the world. With its establishment, travel time between Beijing and Guangzhou was significantly reduced to 8 hours. All these projects bring the question to mind, how has China been able to catch up to Europe and Japan so quickly and efficiently? It all comes down to money. The network China built up cost the country between $17 to $21 million per kilometer of distance. Although that might seem like a lot of money, but compared to other parts of the world, it's a real bargain. For instance, in Europe, the cost is $25 to $39 million per kilometer, while the California high-speed network has an estimated cost of $56 million per kilometer. What else helps China is cheap labor, and fewer regulations help cut costs substantially compared to other countries. Technologically advanced trains. China is constantly building better and faster bullet trains. The CR 400 AFG train can reach a top speed of 217 miles per hour and travel in temperatures as low as 40 degrees Celsius. The bullet train will travel from Shenyang to Dalian and make stops in other northern cities throughout China. Bullet trains that can withstand frigid temperatures are necessary if China wants to build the railway to the US. Temperatures in Siberia, Alaska, and the Canadian tundra can drop well below 40 degrees Celsius. Although temperatures below 60 degrees Celsius are rare, they can happen occasionally. Another way China is preparing underwater train travel to the United States is somewhat of a test project. China Railway wants to build a high-speed rail line from mainland China to Taiwan. The Taiwan Strait Tunnel project could cost as high as $30 billion and is the perfect test run for the Bering Strait Tunnel. Money is no object when it comes to expanding China's rail network, and it has spent $116.8 billion on railways projects in 2018 alone. Every cent of that money was put to good use. China Railway built 2,910 miles of track that year, and 2,549 miles of it were specifically for high-speed trains. China's first underwater bullet train. Many amazing feats of transportation have been planned and succeeded, but with all the aspects involved, it's safe to say that underwater train travel from China to the United States is a long way away. Some skeptics even believe it will be impossible to pull off such an elaborate megaproject. However, China is showing the world it is more than capable of building the underwater railway system. In late 2020, China began constructing a $3.6 billion project, the Ningbo-Zhoushan Railway. This train system will be China's first underwater high-speed railroad and a test run of the planned Russia-Canada-America line. The Ningbo-Zhoushan Railway will connect Ningbo, a port city south of Shanghai, to Zhoushan, an archipelago off the eastern coast. The monumental project will include a 10-mile subsea tunnel and is expected to be completed within a few short years. The trains will reach a maximum speed of 155 miles per hour and levitate above a magnetic track. Also, the subsea tunnel will consist of 3 levels, a maintenance shaft on top, the main tunnel section in the middle, and an emergency track below. The tunnel will float in the water and be anchored to the ocean floor via tethers. When the project is completed, passengers will be able to travel between Hangzhou, the capital of Zhejiang province, to Zhoushan in 80 minutes. By car, it would take nearly 3 hours. This enormous project is part of China's $1 trillion Belt and Road Initiative. It aims to create a modern-day Silk Road and build rail, land, and maritime corridors from China to Southeast Asia, South Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. Significant challenges ahead. While China may want to build the underwater train to the United States, the question to be answered is, are they allowed to do so? There is no doubt with enough money, China can complete the daunting megaproject, but the US and Canada might not be on board. Building the China to Russia portion will pose no problem considering the close relationship between the two countries. Unfortunately, China's relationship with the US is currently the worst it's been in decades. Diplomatic relations would need to improve largely for the network to become a reality. But even if relations improved, another hurdle is the building between Alaska and Canada. Most of the American West Coast consists of several state and national parks, which will pose a massive risk to endangered wildlife. Moving the line around those parks would significantly increase the project's costs. A fun fact about Japan's Seikan Tunnel holds the record for the world's longest tunnel with an undersea segment. The underwater segment portion spans 14.5 miles, and the total length of the tunnel is 33.6 miles and costs $7 billion to build.